The Green Zionist Alliance, David Krantz.
Hi again, my name is David Krantz. I'm the president and chairperson of the Green Zionist Alliance, the grassroots campaign for a sustainable Israel, and it's my pleasure to be here with you today. The Green Zionist Alliance works to educate Jews and everyone else in the diaspora about Israel's environment. But we're also the only environmental organization in the world that has a direct say into writing and implementing Israeli environmental laws through the legacy government of the World Zionist Organization. We do this in partnership with our partners in Israel, and we also consult with people of different religions here in the United States and elsewhere as the Jewish partner in the National Religious Coalition on Creation Care, as well as one of the Jewish members of Interfaith Moral Action on Climate. In 2001, we were founded by a group of about 30 volunteers, including Dr. Alon Tal, Dr. Elon Schwartz, and Rabbi Michael Cohen. These are the people that founded the Arava Institute for Environmental Studies, the Heschel Center for Environmental Learning and Leadership, and EcoPeace Friends of the Earth Middle East. So this is the DNA of the Green Zionist Alliance, and we were inspired by the vision of a guy named Theodor Herzl. See, Theodor Herzl, his vision for the future Jewish state of Israel was not just to have a Jewish state. His vision was to have a future state that was a Jewish model state, a model state where, in Herzl's words specifically, people are treated equally and fairly regardless of their religion, regardless of their ethnicity or background, and a Jewish state that was powered not by coal, but by clean, renewable energy. And so we've been working to fulfill Herzl's vision. Our work has led to the creation of hundreds of miles of bike trails across Israel, as well as new nature preserves and about 1.5 million trees planted in Israel.
So, David, here's my question. If you had to give Israel a report card for environmental work, A, B, C, D, F.
You know, at UC Santa Cruz, they used to not give grades.
Yeah, get over that.
I'd say Israel is very good at implementing, or rather, very good at developing green technologies. When it comes to water, Israel's very good at implementing new technologies, but when it comes to others, not so. Most of the solar companies in the world, a lot of their technology was tried, tested, proved in Israel. The solar plants in like Spain and California, they were built by Israeli companies, but less than half of 1% of Israel's electric grid is actually powered by clean and renewable energy, such as solar.
Thank you. One Voice, Tal Harris, the executive director.
Hello, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'll be short regarding just a brief introduction to those who don't know One Voice. It's an international grassroots movement, was established about 10 years ago with the mission of empowering the moderate voices in Israel and Palestine in parallel to achieve a two-state solution. And the premises of the organization, of the movement, have always been that there is a silent, moderate majority in every society, including the Israeli and Palestinian one, and that if this moderate majority speaks, thinks, acts differently, it'll carry a significant weight before decision makers. The work specifically in Israel focuses on empowering students. We are the only organization that has collaborated with the National Union of Israeli Students, an important political body, to do our grassroots organizing, and with the caucus in the Knesset for the two-state solution, which is now the biggest lobby that works within the Knesset to achieve a two-state solution. So we're very proud of these channels. And I think that one of the secrets to effectiveness in Israel and in Palestine is to work for the national interest of both societies for the national self-interest of each of these societies. We know the benefits of peace include, economic, security, diplomatic benefits. But actually, in the context of this festival, I'd like to focus on a different, more domestic-driven motivation that we as an organization have, and I specifically, as someone who's been active in the last 6 years, almost religiously for peace, carry with me. And that's actually an experience that I have from when I was 10 years old. I was born in Ra'anana. I got in, which is not a very conflict-stricken city next to Tel Aviv. And I didn't get into politics before my 20s, certainly not when I was 10 years old. And nevertheless, when I was asked at the age of 10 what I think about the conflict, my answer was that my solution was death to the Arabs, and that shocks me in retrospect. It didn't come from my parents. My mom's a teacher, my father's a social worker. Didn't come from that. It came from fear. It came from racism. I guess it mainly came out of the conflict, and I think that as long as the visions of radicals, both Jewish and Palestinian, Israeli and Palestinian, predominate the media, predominate the politics of the region, kids that are 10-year-old are going to continue spitting out such horrible views. And, one final word in the context of this festival. In the next session down in the auditorium, you'll be able to see a couple of videos that we've done with the best of Israeli directors. And that came as a result of one project called Imagine 2018, asking Israelis and Palestinians to imagine what their countries would look like in an era of peace in the year of 2018. We took scripts and stories and even Facebook status updates that people put up and fulfilled our promise to empower and amplify those voices. We put them up on billboards, we put them up in the Knesset, and we put some of them in the form of a movie. So you're welcome to see them.
Let me ask you a question. If you could tell every single person that in this room what's the one thing that they could do to strengthen the moderates in Israel, here, what can we do? What would that be?
Well, I'll give a more approach-based recommendation. We're too often as Jews in the diaspora, too often as Palestinians in the diaspora, playing the role of cheerleaders, as if the conflict is some soccer match and people are cheerleading for Israel and cheerleading for Palestine. And at the end of the day, those that have to live through the conflict are not looking for cheerleaders. They need actually supporters for the peace cause, for the cause of peace, and to speak about the one thing that a great chunk of Israelis and Palestinians can actually agree on. Not to highlight the differences and the controversies between the two sides, but to highlight the great consensus that has been built up by numerous grassroots initiatives in the last 20 at least years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Judy Wall, a board member representing the Parent Circle.
Okay. Hello, shalom, and salam. I think that I am re-engaged in Israel because of this film festival, and I want to say that out loud. I spent a year in Israel. I was very disengaged for many years. I was one of those turned off. And last year I came here and saw a movie called One Day After Peace, and it dealt with Robbie Damlin and her trip to South Africa and her organization Parent Circle Families Forum, sometimes referred to as Bereaved Israeli and Palestinian Families for Peace. After that film, I returned to Israel very shortly thereafter, having not been in Israel for many years, to meet Robbie Damlin and Bassam Orion, our Palestinian spokesperson. And I said, if I can work with this organization, I will be truly engaged with Israel. and I have been, and I'm now on their board. We are an organization of 600 Israeli and Palestinian families, all of whom have lost a close, immediate family member as a result of this conflict. And together we work. That is our starting point, not a political starting point. We start from the standpoint of grief and pain, personal tragedy. And together we have dialogues, we go into schools, we have projects, art projects, women's projects, mental health projects. We have something called Cracking the Wall, 17,000 people on our Facebook page. And one of the things that we do, and we did it here last year, how many of you remember One Day After Peace? And when we had the blood bank outside of our doors here at the JCC, because one of our major projects is to have Palestinians and Israelis give blood at the very same time together, body by body, because we know we all have the same blood that runs before us. Our vision is that we can only have peace if we have reconciliation. That means that people have to come together, trust one another as human beings, and that trust has to be established along with any agreement for peace. If we don't do that, we will only stop the fighting, but we won't have a true peace. And what all of us who care about all of the people in the region want is a true and enduring peace.
So, Judy, I'd like to know what challenges the Parent Circle most.
Wow. Well, we're always looking for money, but we get a lot of grants, including from the European Union and other places like that. I think that the greatest challenge is to encourage people to at least come to the starting point, come to an initial dialogue. Don't come with the baggage of their history. We always say that you don't know a person until you know their narrative. In order to know their narrative, we have to bring people together. So it's that initial step, because once they come, once they begin to talk, then we begin to have the potential for peace.
Thank you.